What is going on, guys? BZK here. I'm not even going to get into an intro, but thank you so much for watching. I'm going to explain to the best of my ability how to defeat Golgoroth and the strategy everyone needs to use. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So, starting off, you need a Gaze Grabber on the right hand side and a Gaze Grabber on the left hand side. Our Gaze Grabber on the right hand side is myself, as you see on screen right now, and the opposite Gaze Grabber on the left hand side is Gnarly. I'll be referred to him just as his gamer tag is Gnarly, just to make it easier for you guys to kind of comprehend and understand it. So, right away, what you want to do, instead of grabbing his gaze, you actually want to focus on ads. There'll be a wave of ads for a good minute or so. Oh, excuse me. And you want to kill all of these ads before you even start dealing damage and start the rotation of the orbs on Golgoroth. So you want to take care of the ads, and then you start your damage. So there's 6 orbs total. There's 3 on the left and 3 on the right. Just to make it easier for us to call out, we called it out L1, R1, L2, R2, L3, R3. And L1 is the first orb on the left hand side, R1 is the first orb on the right hand side, and then so on and so forth. L2 is the second orb on the left hand side, and then so on and so forth. So now you see me shooting down the L1 orb. So this is where the strategy starts. You shoot down the L1 orb. Right after that drops, Gnarly will grab his gaze. Now, the Golgoroth is focused solely on Gnarly. Gnarly is then rotating towards the orb that we just dropped. Therefore, Golgoroth's stomach is what our fire team is aiming at, and we want to focus his stomach towards our fire team. Our fire team is now standing in a puddle of reclaimed light, which is what the orb creates. So now I just dropped the R1 orb, and our fire team simply just rotates over into that puddle, and then they start dealing damage. Now we have 2 Night Stalkers. Gnarly is 1 Night Stalker, and we have a Night Stalker down below. These 2 coordinate with each other when they are going to tether Golgoroth. It just helps deal more damage. We also have Weapons of Light down there, as you see, and it's pretty easy just to drop weapons in between the 2 puddles that we create. So now, what Gnarly is doing, he's calling out when his gaze is, when the timer for his gaze is down below, or is low. So that means that I have to then shoot his back and get his gaze again. So you see on screen right now it says Golgoroth's gaze. It starts from 18 seconds, and it's up to the Gaze Grabber's responsibility to call out when the gaze is about to run out. So you see Golgoroth just shifted his gaze. That means that Gnarly on the left hand side shot his back and got his gaze again. So now Gnarly and I are rotating his gaze right now, so to speak. So as you can see on screen right now, I am shooting the R3 orb, and right after I grab his gaze, the fire team will then rotate over into the puddle that I just created, the R3 puddle, if you will. So you can kind of see on screen now they're rotating over into the puddle that I just created for them, and I'm just trying to stay alive just by shooting these Axion darts. And again, you want to focus solely on focusing Golgoroth's attention towards the fire team as much as possible, because they're responsible for actually dealing damage to his stomach. You deal more damage to his back, but when you shoot his back, it switches gazes, so you want to actually focus your attack on his stomach. So after all 6 orbs are done, you want to then pretty much just, start over. We're taking control of ads right now. We're dealing with ad control right now, and it's as if we're just starting over. So after the 6th orb is dropped, there'll be no more orbs that spawn for a good, minute or so, which gives us time to take control of ads, kill them, and once we kill them, if you guys need ammo, which I'm sure all of you will, you can go over, grab some ammo, and pretty much just start the process over again. Note that every single time for us, since we did R1 second, we dropped the L1 orb first. After we dropped the R1 orb, every single time Cursed Thrall are guaranteed to spawn. So we always had one person focused solely on killing the Cursed Thrall, and it's my responsibility to call that out too, because I can see them on my minimap. They just literally spawn right below me. So I also have to call that out to my fire team when the Cursed Thrall are spawning. But it's not really that big of a deal, because they always spawn when we're dropping the R1 orb, as you just saw. So now I just grabbed his gaze because Gnarly called out when his timer was getting low. I grabbed his gaze for 18 seconds, and Our fire team is now in the R1 puddle that I just dropped for them, dealing damage on Golgoroth. And within that fire team, they're coordinating their supers, they're coordinating their weapons of light, they're coordinating their tether, the Sunbreakers, hammer, and our Nightstar, or our gunslingers, Celestial Nighthawk, Golden Gun. They're coordinating their supers together when they see fit. So now, while Gnarly is having his gaze right now, I'm dropping the R2 orb, and I'm about to get his gaze right now because Gnarly has just called out, okay, my timer's getting low, it's getting around the 2-3 second mark, take his gaze. So I shoot his back, I grab his gaze, and we kind of just rinse and repeat this process. Our fire team is in the R2 puddle that I then created for him, and they're just dealing damage. This is pretty much the strategy. It's pretty simple, and I know you guys will get frustrated when you first start to do this. We sure as hell did. We did this about 25 different times before we actually killed him. But believe me guys, this is the way to do it, and it's really not that bad. It's just a matter of just getting the practice down, getting the mechanics down, and pretty much just perfecting it. So I just dropped again that R3 orb, I shot his back, I grabbed his gaze, and I'm trying to stay behind the orb that I just dropped as much as I possibly can to focus his stomach towards our fire team, because again, that's where we're going to be dealing the most damage, is his stomach. So you want to get your fire team shooting his stomach while standing in the pool of reclaimed light. Now once the R3 orb is destroyed, there'll be no more orbs spawning, as you can see up on the roof. There's no more orbs. So after that last orb is killed, you guys want to dip out as quickly as you can. So it's up to the gaze grabber's responsibility, in this case my responsibility, to call out when I have 5 seconds left on the gaze. That means the fire team is then forced to jump out of the down below area where they're dealing damage and take control of ads again. Because if you are still down there when his gaze is no longer active, he'll focus on the people that are literally right in front of him and stomp the ground and pretty much kill everyone. So you want to call out when your gaze is about to run out, and that's when everyone else should get back up where you see right now, and we're taking control of ads, we're killing them, and you know, I was trying to spawn orbs for my teammates right there because supers are really important, but also you guys want to kill ads for also ammo, because you will 100% need ammo. So again, we're kind of just starting over again. You see me, I'm shooting the L1 orb. It's about to drop the L1 puddle. Right as that drops, Gnarly will be grabbing his gaze, as you just saw on screen right there, and we're pretty much starting the process over again. So again, Gnarly is behind the L1 orb that we just dropped, and our fire team is in that pool dealing damage to Golgoroth's stomach. In the meantime, I'm shooting the next orb that our fire team has to rotate towards, which is the R1 orb. And again, every single time that the R1 orb drops, Cursed Thrall will spawn. And now, once his health gets low enough, Cursed Thrall will no longer spawn, it'll just be Taken, which is actually a lot easier. It's a lot easier to deal with Taken than it is Cursed Thrall, believe me. So, again, we're kind of just, you know, rinsing and repeat this. You can see his health is getting down low when we only have 3 other orbs left. Well, I guess 4th, we're on one of them right now, but you know, his health is really low right now because we're coordinating our supers and we're doing the rotations like perfectly. No one can mess up. Like, that's the one thing that's kind of tricky about this. No one can mess up. Like, if one person dies, like, we had 2 people die and we still, you know, defeated Golgoroth just because we already had the mechanics down and we were dealing ridiculous damage. But the gaze grabbers cannot mess up. Specifically, the gaze grabbers cannot mess up. They have to stay alive. They have to call out when their gaze timer is low. They have to get the gaze in the first place, and they have to shoot down the orb, as you see right now, for the fire team to then dip into once they are prompted to rotate. So again, right now, Gnarly is calling out when his gaze is down, when his timer is down low. I grabbed his timer from him, so to speak, and our fire team rotates over into the opposite pool. And this is the last orb, so he's almost dead. I'm just dealing as much damage as I can, and we finally beat the motherfucker. It took about 25 to 30 times before we actually got that strategy down. We didn't know that was the strategy to use, but it took us, you know, maybe a couple tries after we actually knew what strategy to use to actually perfect it and get it down. And it's really, like I said, it's really not that bad. Just please do not get discouraged. It's not that bad. You just need to get to the mechanics down. But guys, I hope I explained this really well. If you guys enjoyed the video, please drop a like. I'll be pumping out more videos for you guys. And as always, Peace out.